Hello everyone, welcome to Sports Khabri on foot and this Harry. I'm Rahul, with me are Arnava and Hiren, like always. 1-0 to in the end today to Chennaiyin. Of course, because it was a very cagey game, South Indian derby. You had tackles going in, you had crazy moments, you had a red card, you had one goal, and the pressure from the Blasters in the end, but did not happen for the Kerala based side in the end. Arnava, I come straight to you. And we were just speaking before this. For to me, it felt like a sort of win-win. I mean, win-loss, not win-win, win-loss. Because yeah, on one side, of course, seeing your biggest rivals lose, there's always something good about it. But there's also another side where, obviously, Chennai have climbed up the table and now they're again in contention for the sixth spot, like so many other teams. And this crazy league keeps on giving. Yeah, what do you make of the game today, Anna?
I would think, yeah, it's opening up, more and more. And a warm good evening to you guys and everyone who's watching. It's the result that Owen Coyle needed, that his team needed. And if you were watching the game, you could hear Owen Coyle quite a bit in the background, always, urging his team to go on. And Chennai were the better of the two teams. There's no doubt about it. I think on the other side, the worry for the Blasters and its faithful is the number of injuries that they're picking up. These. Again, Leskovic seems to be a reoccurring injury. Sachin Suresh was rather unlucky. I mean, if it's the shoulder, you never know what if it's gone out, if there are any ligaments which are torn, and and the commentator said as well. I saw it a few times. I felt it as well that Ivan Vukovanovic um, out there, and he looked very pale to me. Ivan Vukovanovic is a coach who has a lot of power, a lot of energy, and I said that yesterday, right? And I felt it in the pre-match press conference as well. Is that he feels himself a little clueless in what to do, how to change things. This is a good team, is still a talented team, but you realize there are two or three small little things missing in the Blasters to make them that team that we saw in the first half of the season where they were one of the best sides. And yeah, I mean, the only good thing for the Blasters is they have 26 points, right? I mean, the lower half is still too far away. It's still 9 points to Jamshedpur and 10 to Northeast and 11 to Chennai and to BFC. So that's the only good thing for them at the moment, that they have so many points on the board.
Talking about the game, Hiren, do you really remember clear-cut chances for Kerala throughout the game? Some things that they created, I don't know. I mean, I just felt like better chances fell to Chennai. Of course, the goal was well taken in the end, and then Rahim Ali had that one-on-one opportunity at which he should have scored. Here's the talk about having a striker to replace Sunil Chetri. You have examples day on day why there is nobody else, because these are the chances that strikers have to take at the end of the day. Going one-on-one, you're through one-on-one with goal. That's bread and butter if you're a striker and doesn't go in. But yeah, Hiren, any major chances that you remember for the Blasters? Because I just can't seem to remember any clear cut opportunities that they created.
First of all, hello to everyone, and I agree with you. I think they lack a creativity in the you can say final third, or you can say in a forward line. I also don't remember any chances. I think that was a half chances that Sandeep Singh cross and that Emmanuel was you can say go ahead. But other than that, I don't see you can say they have a clear cut chance. I think in front line, maybe Daisuke wants try to do something. That's it. I think Feder Konis is also not really you can say he is settled. I think Ishan Pandita in second half, Emmanuel, everyone. I think whatever the substitution they have been made, I don't think so. They have been worked out. So without Dimanta Kos and without Adrian Luna, I think as sir rightly mentioned, Ivan Vukonovic looks clueless. What's to you can say without them how to create opportunity. I think they look little bit. I think in that sense, very you can say disappointed to be honest. And they have some quite interesting players, to be honest, as a talented player. No doubt they facing a major injury as their Kwame Pepre, Adrian Luna, Dimantakos, and all of these players has been out. But I think still they have that kind of player which can you can say with a better planning, maybe you can produce something good result. And this is their fifth straight loss two Super Cup losses, and this is the third in a you can say ISL. So the back to back five losses. So that's also going to affect your you can say players' confidence, and that's clearly visible on the pitch. To be honest, I think. Um, the confidence which in the first half of the season, I think the way if you see first half of the season, Kerala Blaster made the comeback from the you can say out of nowhere, or you can say situation where you can say they don't have a chance. But today they don't look in that much you can say hurry in the last 15 or 20 minutes also. The you can say all you give in the kind of situation we I don't you can say feel from the players, or you can say from the intensity wise from Kerala Blaster. So that's the one of the area, and I think that's why the burst out from the Ivan Vukonovic in the last match also visible on the press conference and everywhere. I think that he is also not happy with the how the player are responding to the situation. So that is the situation I think they need to change, and definitely in seal rest now they are you can say going behind. But as sir mentioned, they are still you can say very in a strong position to qualify for playoffs. So now they need to focus on that thing, and need to you can say get that momentum back to you can say produce a better finish season. I would say in a better position. If you don't win still, then you have a quality of players which can you give you a title at the ISL Cup also. So I think for Ivan Vukonovic, he is also now in a you can say under pressure, because I think this is his third season. So if Kerala Blaster didn't achieve anything, then I think question will be asked to him also. So I think very interesting situation for them. For Chennai FC, I think KG game from them, and they I think created a more chance as you mentioned rightly, and I think. Connor still looks very animated on the sideline as usual, but Akash Sang was beautiful goal, so that's a great to see. Maybe next season he will be seeing this kind of goal in the Manolo Marquez under FC Goa. So that is the thing, but I think this is a very important 3 point for Chennai FC. Good to see some of the crowd for Chennai FC to support like that, so that's also a good sign. सो आई थिंक वो देख के मजा आया कि ऐसा नहीं था कि सिर्फ मांझा पड़ा ही थे वहां पे. आई थिंक चेन्नई के जो फैन बेस था यहाँ पे वो भी आई थिंक काफी ज्यादा लाउड था. सो वो भी देख के अच्छा लगा. बट सम ऑफ द प्लेयर्स, आप फारूक चौधरी की बात करें, अगर आप देखिए थ्रू आउट द मैच इज बिन रियली रियली पुअर, बट जब एक वो जो वहां पे बॉल होल्ड अप करना था चांस क्रिएट करने के लिए, वहां पे उसने कर दिया. सो दैट्स यू कैन से कि उसकी सारी गलतियां माफ कर दी वहां पे. अदर देन दैट आई थिंक सम ऑफ द still think I think this Owen Cole side needs to improve if they want to really go for that sixth position.
Yep, absolutely. A lot of chats coming in. I mean, separated saying that's why Sports CSC Akash was amazing. League is now crazy and tricky. I think that's been the story throughout the season. Upset Footwear says, I think presumably a Kerala Blasters fan. Yeah, opportunity in the first half, but Ayman couldn't deliver a proper course. Says Rushin, this is about, of course, we were talking about the chances that the Blasters created. Yeah, I know. On top of that, I'm not a big fan of this green kit. What did you make of the kit? Because I thought it was a little, it was interesting to see different shades that sometimes we don't get to see different and unusual colors in the ISL. What do you make of the kit? Because something that I noticed, and I wanted to know what you guys thought about the kit, because it just looked a little not great.
I loved it. I mean, it's a
Oh,
different
okay,
color
okay,
shade, right? I mean,
okay.
it's a different color shade, and again, these are the times of crazy color codings. I was yesterday going through, some of the MLS squads with their sort of what they call legacy kit or whatever their away kit, right? So they play around with the color codes and this and that and everything, and it's flashy at the moment, right? So therefore. I liked it. If you ask me, I liked the kit.
Okay. It reminded me of the Manchester United 22-23 season jersey, the green one, sort of.
Yes,
No,
Uh,
the
yes.
Man United was a little darker. I would have said the green.
yeah.
More
Yeah,
greener
yeah.
than this.
More green. Yeah, there was more green. Yeah, I think it ends right. Yeah, there was. But
I
interesting,
also
interesting.
like this. I also
Okay,
like this
okay,
kit, to be honest. For a change, I think I like this because we
okay.
usually see that blue, white, and red most of the teams' jersey. So in that sense, I like this different color and vibe, and I think it's resonate with the Kerala's you can say the atmosphere and everyone. Sorry if background noise is coming out, by guys in my neighborhood wedding going on, so I will be mute for some time.
No, fair enough. And Aditya saying, let's quickly run through Kerala Blasters' upcoming fixtures as well, because it's important for them to stay in the battle for the title. Coming next is Goa at home. And after that, although it's a BSC side that hasn't looked good, they have to come to the Kantirva where they've struggled in the past. Are now two tricky fixtures coming up for them. How do you see them faring?
And then they play Mohun Bagan after
And
that.
then they
So
won't back.
I
Yeah.
think they've got three tough ones for them. Again, Vukovanovic will get the one or the other player back, but the question is what happens to the others. I mean, Sachin Suresh's injury was not that big of a problem because Karanjit showed, even at that higher age, what a class goalkeeper he was and he is. Very interesting, of course. Karanjit played for a number of years actually for Chennaiyin FC,
Yeah.
and I do remember him from his old JCT days. Very good goalkeeper, very solid keeper, and he showed that right in the situations. That chance for Rahim Ali, that high ball, that free kick from Crivellaro, um, old school keeper, but solid. So that wasn't the problem. I think the problem for them is up front. They tried different combinations. Chennai will take his time to settle in, as a lot of these players seem to be taking time to settle in. Very interesting to see that. Um, and the rest of the team, again, Jikson is coming back from an injury, so he's not as dominant as we've seen Jikson in the past. And Vukovanovic just needs to find that right combination. I think that's the challenge for him. He's done a lot of things right over the years at Kerala Blasters. The fans love and adore him, but now for the first time, sort of the mood is changing, the mood is swinging, and he and the team will now have to overcome that pressure. So that's I think the interesting challenge that he now faces with the team, because normally the 12th man is sort of that extra push that the Blasters get, and now the 12th man is a potential pressure similar to what especially the Kolkata clubs, East Bengal and Mohun Bagan, know when the 12th man is not your friend, but rather, is unhappy about your performances.
Yep. Fair enough. No, I think now just let's take a look at the table. Hiren Blasters are fourth, 26 points on the board, but they've played 15 games. So Goa, Mohun Bagan, and Mumbai, who are around them, have played 13 games. And yeah, the two above them, Mohun Bagan and Goa, they're the ones that are sort of have the opportunity to extend that lead and go further ahead. Um, is it too soon to say that the Blasters are out of the race for the title?
I think for a shield they need to make a, you can say turn the table for a 360 degree, which is at the moment looks really difficult, to be honest, with the kind of injury their main key players having. I think it is very difficult. They will turn the table because you only have left 7 matches now, and out of 7 you have 2 3 very tough fixtures. So maybe you have to have a, you can say really good chance in maybe 3 4 matches. So in that sense, I think I am saying they will not be you can say no longer in the race to steal, to be honest. I think the confidence is also down, and to turn the things around they need to win all of these matches, and then they are also only with the 47 point. So in that sense, I think it is looks for me a little bit now difficult. They can, in football anything can happen, but I think at the moment I'm not seeing they are now in a, you can say top contender for that shield race. But I think I still feel if they get the momentum, then I think maybe in playoffs they can do much better, to be honest. I think they have that capabilities, as sir mentioned. They have that fan, that extra 12 men. So in such a situation in knockouts, you need that kind of support and everything, and you have that kind of quality. So if you get the momentum in these 5 7 matches and goes into the playoff with that confidence, then definitely the chances will be there. You can maybe goes into the semi-final, final, or something like that. But I think for still rest at the moment, I'm not saying they are the, you can say, top contender.
Another thoughts on Nishan?
What do we expect? I would love to see the boy um, do something, get goals, but he's played. I mean, we have to think about this. He's played less minutes as a starting player than as a substitute, and he's an Indian national team player. He's a striker, and it was very interesting because that has also been my thought about players like him. What Eric and Pulosta were discussing on air is that does he need to find maybe a place somewhere wide, rather than playing in the center? And Manveer Singh was a very good example of that. If you're an Indian international player, if you want to get game time in the ISL, you will not be playing as a central striker. I did that today because Diamantakos was injured. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened. And I mean, even at the other end, we saw Rahim Ali, often criticized, but given a complete shift. But we also saw that, that composer was missing from Rahim Ali to actually, he had 2-3 very good chances today where he could have scored, but he didn't, because also there's that lack of game time in regard to finishing in matches. It's different if you do it in training or in matches. And that is something which you see with the Indian strikers. You saw that finish where, where he's trying to beat Karanjit. Now, if the striker knows Karanjit is going to go down, if he just chipped him, just gave the ball a little bit of a chip, or even, maybe even try and place it around him with your left, you would have surprised him. It would have been easier. But again, that's something with experience and which comes in getting in minutes. But it's good to see that he's getting these minutes. Farooq Chaudhary got in, did put in a good shift as well for them. I think for Chennaiyin, Rafa Crivellaro, where at the beginning I thought, okay, doesn't look good. But the longer the match lasted, Rafael Crivellaro was showing the class that this player has, right? He has that in him. It's just, again, don't make him run. That's the only thing. And therefore, Chennai potentially look a dangerous side. And again, Akash Sangwan, as Hiren said, Akash Sangwan is someone at the right time, I would say, I would consider for an India call-up, even more than even a Jay Gupta, I'll be very honest to that. Because he's now been, whenever he's fit, he's been showing this for 1.5 seasons in the ISL. So therefore, maybe, Akash Sangwan maybe deserves a call-up at some stage.
Last season, sir, he is the best left back with Akash Mishra, you can say. I would say better than performance than Akash Mishra. And I think in summer many clubs try for the Akash Sangwan, but I think Chennai didn't let him go. But I think now in FC Goa it will be interesting to see. He's a quality player.
He's a little older also, right? So he's experienced. He knows for him. To play in the ISL is a big thing. I mean, he's an I-League player, right? And got the chance last season and has done it. So yeah, it's great to see when these kind of boys actually make it at the top level. And again, that goal was class. You saw also the shot he tried in the first half, right, where he tries to poke it into the short corner. That
was also great shot, sir. That was also great shot. And he has that capabilities of taking those kind of shots. His crosses is also very, very good. If you see in last season also, he's put up some accurate crosses. So definitely, I think he can be a good asset.
Yeah. On Chennai again, guys. Hiren, you think are they favorites now, along with Jamshedpur, to take spot number 6, or you're not calling anything?
No. I think because
Hiren, he's trying it every day. No? Make someone a favorite. This is a bad moderator.
No, then we'll clip it, and then we'll come back to it when it doesn't happen.
That's what I'm saying. No?
But sir, we also now what is he trying to do? So we also have to answer in a similar fashion. But I think on a serious note, I think for Chennai FC, the main thing will be the consistency. Because if you see in the first half of the season, in 1 or 2 matches, they put up a very good performance. Other than that, they are too much inconsistent. And I think still they have you can say not in that sense of finishing side in terms of the performance wise. So I think let's see how they carry forward this momentum. I think that will be much more interesting to see, because there are still, you can say it's not a complete side in a sense to, you can say perform in every matches. So I think that's the challenge, and let's see how the other players. I mentioned Farooq Chaudhary. He has some 2-3 very good you can say chances in a sense to create you can say those chances, but he easily used those balls. And other than that, I think Ninthoy looks little bit good. Rahim Ali sir ne jaise mention kiya. So there are some of the area backline, I would say. Mukherjee sahab is always you can say his head is always on you can say fire. So this kind of situation you need to avoid.
Why do you do that to the goalkeeper? You are a card down.
Exactly. Why exactly? मेरे को भी सर वो समझ में आया वो What is he thinking
and
there?
he's
We are already
looking
on a
at the
one
referee,
yellow.
and he's looking at
Uh,
the referee. I didn't do anything. What? I didn't do anything. It's like, why
तो
you?
रेफरी ने बोला होगा ना, am I look to you blind?
Exactly.
but but but
Again, that, yeah. Sorry, please.
नहीं नहीं continue.
Because to me is, um, and this is the problem with Ankit Mukherjee, right? And you think,
Hmm.
okay, he's now, again, he had his moments, he had his problems, but it looked like, okay, he's stabilizing at some level. And then he again does something where you think, why? Because your team is winning 1-0. It's a tight game. You're giving an advantage to your opponent, right? In the heat of the moment, I understand all of it. But in this chance, again, there is no need to try and grab a Karanjit, because you're not going to get anything out of it. That is what my question would be. And again, I'm sure that someone like Owen Coyle will surely give him a hot talking, and yeah, Roshan, maybe he could have taken him off. I mean, maybe yeah, maybe not, but
Yeah, potentially.
yeah, he could have, because again, he is. I mean, he does play with his heart up his sleeve, and he gives 100%. But this is something where you say, like, use your brains just for once. I mean, I would have if a player did something like this and I was in the team, I would have gone berserk. I would have really gone berserk, because this is just stupidity. There's no need. And if Chennai had dropped a point today, or even lost to the Blasters, I would not like to have been in that dressing room with Owen Coyle, because Owen Coyle is going to tell him surely, what he thinks about this card, and it wasn't needed. It just wasn't needed. You guys
Yeah.
were playing well, and anyway, it's a weird thing. What to say?
Yeah, guys, and I know we were talking about Chennai before we just started this, and I said I don't know why, but I don't see them as much. But I think it's down to what Hiren mentioned. Somewhat there just seems like it's not a complete squad, and there is a lot of inconsistencies in the set. I don't know why, but I don't feel like they will really go on a big strong run, and I don't know if it's got something to do with the fact that Chennai have been that side in the last few years where they've been in and around but not there. They're not terrible, but they're not really pushing. I don't know.
but
Hiren, it's a mentality thing that seeps in as well. Yeah.
No, let Hiren
I
wanted to
think
say something.
I think it's if you see last 3 4 years, the club Chennai FC earlier used to be, you can see, more stable. Now you can see every year they are changing the foreigners, they are changing the coaches. Your setup is changing every year. So I think that stability I think is one of the key factor जो कि I think Chennai FC को पिछले कुछ season में I think वो नहीं दिखा है, and that's why they struggle in the ISL. Otherwise they are one of the, you can say, कि best side in ISL earlier. And definitely that mentality also creeps in, because I think there is a I would say टीम का जो कॉम्बिनेशन और एटमोस्फेयर है, अगर आप हर साल चेंज कर रहे हो, देन आई थिंक कहीं ना कहीं वो जो एक प्लेयरों में भी श्योरिटी है वो भी कहीं ना कहीं लूज होती है. सो डेफिनेटली आई एम नॉट सीइंग इट. दैट्स व्हाई आई थिंक आज मतलब मैंने जब 6 बजे लाइव किया तो काफी सारे लोग बोल रहे थे कि व्हाट विल योर प्रेडिक्शन. मैंने बोला आई डोंट नो व्हाट विल बी द साइड चेन्नई एफसी टुडे टर्न अप. I don't know exactly. After seeing more than half of the season, you don't just predict how they are going to perform. Someday they are, you can see, looks very good. Other day they are looks completely off. Same players, and I think that's the you can say the most difficult part for Owen Coyle to get that into backtrack and to produce, or you can say to get out from this kind of player to consistent basis, performance on consistent basis. So if they is able to do that, then I think they have that kind of quality players, but it's just about the inconsistency.
Yeah. Shaggy saying not much said from the center for the Blasters after Luna. They need an attacking midfielder, number 10. Just
I
sort of.
mean, I mean, I mean, Chenich could be that number 10, but you see that
Hmm.
he's a little heavy and heavy footed, I feel. And again, yes, if you're coming from Lithuania and it's winter in that part of the world, it's -10, -15, and then you end up in Kerala and it's over 30 degrees. Even a top athlete will take his time, and that is something. Again, I said the other day when East Bengal played Mumbai City, right? You saw that Ikar and Chroma were directly in it. Even the East Bengal foreigners are having problems to settle in. And that is something, when you change your foreigners or you're forced to change your foreigners, that is something where, again, does it upset uh, 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 um, your sort of setup and the way your team is built, right? Every team seems to have had forced changes or wanted changes of, players were injured or they wanted to get rid of players, and therefore the second half of the season is totally different than what we had in the first half of the season. And with Chennai, I think today's win is very important for them, and that's why I say that towards Rahul. I say that they are now in the mix. They've got a lot of home games also coming up in the next few weeks, and if Owen Coyle can settle again, they've shown it when they beat Punjab 5-0. What potential lies in this team? They showed in patches today. I mean, 1-0 actually flatters the Blasters, if one is very honest. It could have been a 2 or 3-0, most probably would have been more realistic, to be very honest about this. And on that front for Chennai, they're in the mix. They are in the mix, and Owen Coyle can work on certain things and build, because again, he's been playing around. Jiteshwar was a player he was favoring. He's now put out Jiteshwar. Ayush Adhikari came in, did a good job, and at the heart of midfield as well. Connor Shields, not the perfect number 10. Maybe you can do a few interswitching saves in there, and especially also Rahim Ali and Farooq Chaudhary, who were not only putting in the meters, but they were also physical. Today was one of the most physical matches I've seen in recent days amongst teams, right? And it is something that the Blasters didn't like. So this might be a way to outmuscle your opponents. Maybe that's a strategy for Chennai going forward.
Yep. And I was saying Chennai have 5 home games in the next 6, but like Shaggy is mentioning, they have tough games ahead. They play Mohan Bagan, Odisha, Mumbai City, and Goa. It's going to be tough, Hiren. So where do you see this going for them?
After seeing Segibai's fixtures list, I think I again lose the hope. I just believe that Chennai FC maybe back on track, but I think Mohan Bagan, Mumbai City, Odisha, and Goa. I think it's a tough challenge for
But again, just sorry,
Chennai
just for
FC.
context, the next 3 are Mumbai, East Bengal, and Odisha.
But also Goa game is left now out of these all the
Yeah.
matches. So obviously now you can say 7-8 matches or maybe 9 matches left in the season. So if you have 4-5 matches something like this, then your 6th position rest will be also in you can say very in a doubt. So as sir mentioned rightly, I think if you see their foreigners and their Indians player, they have some of the very good players. But the main again I said the consistency. They don't know where will they perform. One day they score a 5 goal as against Punjab FC, other day they don't able to score a single goal also. So that is the situation. So that consistency needs to be there, and then they can expect. And I think particularly the back line, I think needs to be more solid. If you see, they were considered, I think, most cold. Despite playing their 2 foreign center back, so that's the one concern area for them. And let's see. I think Owen Coyle is the manager who has the experience. Everything he knows ISL in and out. But I think this time is a different scenario as we seeing in the ISL. So the experienced ones also don't able to read the situation, or you can say they're able to turn the things up. So I think it's going to be interesting. But if
Yep.
Chennai's full, if Chennai's you can say get back into their 6th position race in a you can say really close manner, then I think it will be the big loss for BFC, because I think they will hurt BFC.
Yep. It's going to be interesting, guys. We'll move on from the ISL. India's FIFA ranking. FIFA ranking is such a big thing, I think, in India. People are always talking about it. But they've slipped to 117th after the Asian Cup. And no, I just want to ask you if 117th is a more fair picture of where we stand at the moment.
I have said it earlier that I think our realistic ranking is about 120 to 125. And to me, the 117 is more realistic than being around around the 100 spot. I mean, so for me, that the Asian Cup was realistic. Was realistic if you look at where they are. But the rankings are bizarre in a way, because Qatar is now ranked 37th in the world. Now, is Qatar as good as that? That's the other question. Are they really? Is Japan a top 20 team in the world? So that's that. And there are teams again. If we realistically look, are they? For example, if you look at the whole of Europe, with its 53 nations, or if you look at the whole of Africa, how many teams could we beat? This is already 100 plus. How many teams can we beat in North? I don't think we can beat any team in South America. That's another 10. How many teams can we beat in North America, Central America, and the Caribbean? Right? It's very
Yeah.
dangerous. I mean, these rankings are, subjective in a way, and you can, as they've done over the years. Steven did it. Igor Stimac has done it. They've done it while the AFF in playing friendlies against teams to ensure your rankings move up. So from
Yeah.
that perspective, that is that. Again, I say 120, 125, but the more I talk, it sounds more that we're 150 most probably. So, those are realities, right? And but for us, I think the ranking doesn't count that much, because to me it's more important in the way that we play our football. That is the more worrying part to me at the moment. Is we're not getting results, and the coach talks about a certain style of play, and again, I don't need a certain style of play. Again, it doesn't matter for most countries. What is your style of play? This is the biggest BS that goes around in world football, right? At the end of the day, do people care? How Real Madrid has been winning the Champions League. If you look at last season, for example, very good example, right? Were Real Madrid the best team in the Champions League? No, nobody cares. They won the Champions League 14 times. That's
Yeah.
the reality. The end result counts, and the rankings are a means to getting something. Now, if you get into the third round of the qualifiers, in the World Cup qualifiers, then the so-called manipulation of the ranking is worked, because we were 18th. Now we're 22nd. So let's see.
Yeah, people in the chat saying India probably ranked lower than that. Igor Stima saying 130, 140. Brandon going as far as to say that we're 170. But Hiren, what do the rankings mean to you? Because like Arnav said, they are very skewed. It, what do they mean to you?
To be honest, as a football fan, मेरे लिए ranking मतलब इंडिया की point of view से बात करें, not I want to talk about the European or any other country, but for India, I think the ranking for me matters in Asia rather than all over the world. In Asia, where you stand. In that sense, I think ranking matter for me. Other than that, I think I also generally don't care for international football. I don't care about the ranking. I more, you can say, any country. Either I support India, or also I want to see maybe Argentina. I like to watch. So in that sense, I think for international team, I want to see them to good in only continental and World Cup. Every other matches, I don't care how they, you can say, see things. But in club football, I want to see a good game. You can say in terms of the gameplay wise and everything, because that's happening all around the year. You can say day to day, your entertainment. But in international football, I just only care about the continental and World Cup wins. That's it. If your team is whatever gameplay, whatever things they play, I don't care. They just have to do good in these two tournaments. Simple as that. And you can say evaluate their growth in next 5 years. I think I generally see the things how in that manner. What they perform in the last, you can say, World Cup, or if the country is regularly playing in World Cup or World Cup qualifiers and their Asian Cup. In next 5 years, what are they doing? So I think that's for me. I think is the thing with the international football. So in that sense, I think India is dropping from 2019 after Asian Cup. We were 18. Now we were 22. So that's the disappointing thing for me, to drop down to 22, because we have a vision of 2026 to reach top 10 in Asia, and we are not in top 20, and just we are less than 2 years away. So I think in that sense, for me, it's a disappointing thing.
Fair enough. But I know that's all that matters, right? At the end of the day, for us, really, if you look at it, the World Cup qualifiers and the Asian Cup, and
But
that's where.
if you see Rahul, if you see we qualify for in the World Cup qualification round three also, there's a historical moment for us, no doubt. Will be first time qualified, but we were still the same. You can't say कि हमने World Cup qualifier round three में qualify कर दिया तो हमने एक बड़ा growth दिखा दिया पिछले 5 साल में. You still can't prove it because earlier it was used to 12 teams in World Cup qualifier round three. Now there is 18 teams. So still you that 18-20 mark in Asia. You can't say we were in a top 12, top 15 in Asia. You were still in that, you can say 18 mark in Asia. So I think World Cup qualification round three will be a huge moment for us, but we will be around this in a similar kind of situation at least for next 2-3 years. If we can change things in you can say radical manner and we put up a you can say produce a great result against the quality side like Qatar or any other countries we are going to maybe play in round three, then only we can move up. Otherwise, I think we are going to roaming around this 18, 20, 22, 24 mark in Asia.
Yep, fair enough. I know we've spoken about this so many times. What do we do to get better? What do we do to get better? What are we going to expect from India going forward? What are you just? We've spoken about this a lot of times, so I just want to ask you, what are you expecting from India going forward?
See, my first question is who's going to be representing us in March? Because I think there are more injuries coming in the next few weeks. So that's the first concern. And then I asked the coach, what is our plan B? Because I think we have to beat Afghanistan twice. If we have any chance of qualifying for the next round, we have to beat Afghanistan twice. And the coach is already talking about, injuries. And that's it. And again, the ISL is a perfect example at the moment that injuries affect the way that you build your team and how you sort of, build your second line, even your third line, depending on what the situation is. We've not done that. If Sunil gets injured, potentially either Manveer or Ishan Pandita start off, right? And that's the concern that we have at the moment, right? That who do we play? How do we play? Can you chuck in an Akash Sangwan, let's say, as a left back, right? It's not going to work. And Igor Stimac, Afghanistan, the players who are in the camp don't play in Europe because those who play in Europe are playing for their clubs. So that's the other thing. This is something because the situation of Afghanistan is the way it is. Therefore, Ashley Westwood has gotten together, see how it works. So to me, the important is to get into the third round somehow. It doesn't matter because it gives us 10 quality matches. But the point is, will we get a reboot in the summer? That's the next question. Because the technical committee did not do it after the Asian Cup. I mean, today is a very interesting day that 3 coaches were fired today, right? Even successful coaches, right?
Yesterday, sorry sir, yesterday that's why I tweeted ki every football association in Africa and in Asia, after whatever their team performance, either they win a tournament, in the semi-final they reach, they out of the group stage, they in knockout, doesn't matter. In some manner, they have reacted after this AFC Asian Cup and this Africa Cup of Nations. They may some of them you can say ki set the course, might you can say ki rebuild their team for the next you can say ki continental level tournament, or you can say ki according to their goal. But only the AFF, only federation, I think मेरे को लगता है कि जिन्होंने बिल्कुल there is a no reaction, no action, and the performance review meeting also you don't want to talk about. The biggest question for me is why don't want you क्या बोलते don't want to talk about it. अब जब उसकी ही मीटिंग कर रहे हो उसमें भी आप उसके ऊपर बात नहीं करना चाहते कि क्या हुआ. आप सारी डिस्कशन के बाद लास्ट में बोल सकते हो कि हाँ भाई जो हुआ सो हो गया, नेक्स्ट फोकस करो वर्ल्ड कप क्वालिफिकेशन राउंड 3. एट द एंड आप ये कंक्लूजन जरूर निकाल सकते हो कि हाँ भाई हमें फोकस अब इसके ऊपर करना चाहिए, जो होना सा हो गया, ये डिफिकल्टीज थी इसके वजह से ऐसा हुआ. बट आप बात ही नहीं करना चाहते तो हाउ कैन यू, मतलब वेयर इज द अकाउंटेबिलिटी. And that's the most, you can say, sad thing. India is the, or you can say AFF is the only federation who didn't react after such a humiliation. जबकि इंडिया AFF को तो सबसे पहले रिएक्ट करना चाहता था, करना चाहिए था, because India is the worst team in this Asian Cup.
Yeah, I can't add anything more, because that's the reality. That's the reality, and again, there are coaches, you know. If I see that Peter Sagat has been fired by Tajikistan, Pitsi did a good job with Bahrain, Klinsmann. Again, there are more cultural issues, I think, than football issues in this. And there seem to be team internal issues as well as among some of the so-called superstars. It shows you what it is. So to me, again, it can't be a money factor, Shaggy. To me, again, I know you put a smiley at the end of it. To me, is you have to find then with the coach. If the coach really says what he said, then you would do that. And again, the old AFF used to be ruthless in these things. When they wanted to get rid of Bob Houghton, they got rid of Bob Houghton, right? Bob wanted to stay for another 2 years, and they just said, you know what, bye. When it didn't work out with Wim Kuvermans was gone. And and the moment where they were thinking, listen, maybe we can, Stephen did well at the Asian Cup, Stephen himself resigned. So
but that will be not the case with this rematch, sir.
That's part of our problem, right? So we're stuck with this, and let's see where we end up.
बट सर, हमने वर्ल्ड फुटबॉल में भी कितनी बार देखा है, चाहे क्लब लेवल पे या फिर कंट्री लेवल पे भी, कि चाहे कितना भी बेस्ट कोच हो, समटाइम द सिचुएशन इज सच कि आपको वो डिसीजन लेना पड़ता है. दैट वाज द बेस्ट फॉर द योर कंट्रीज फुटबॉल, नॉट ओनली फॉर दैट you can say ki I and you have a, you can say that relation, or you may be in a that good, but I think the situation sometimes you need to take this decision. And I think in this AFF I don't see that leadership quality where they take that kind of decision where Indian football is the priority, rather than thinking about the what will fans thinks, what will now happen, what will in World Cup qualification round 3 happen. Ivory Coast tracked their coach after the group stage and they win the tournament. So what can you say other than that? That's the perfect example for you that you need to have a, you can say, assurance or trust on your decision at least. And I think that proves this leadership don't have that, you can say, that whatever you call it, experience, leadership, that vision, anything, or you can say knowledge, anything. I don't think so. They trust their instinct or their decision making. Otherwise, the decision has been taken. Qatar sacked their coach before the tournament and won the Asian Cup. So Africa Cup of Nation and Asian Cup won by the countries who have sacked their coach just before the tournament or in the during the tournament. And you are still thinking what will happen if we sack him right now and our World Cup qualification round 3 will not happen. I think sometimes you need to change
you have not even thought about it. That's the concern. No? If you see the technical committee statements, the thought has not even come. That's my bigger concern at the moment, that the federation has not thought about something which is, again, right or wrong is a different discussion. At this stage, to me, it's the only option, because you need a restart. You need a restart. Even most of the coaches who are being fired have not even completed a year in their job. I mean, being India coach is one of the most secure jobs in world football. If you see Igor Stimac, if you see Stephen, if you see Bob Houghton, even Stephen with his first stint, these were all 4, 5, 6 year stints. But at some stage, the reality of what happens on the field forces you to take decisions, and this is something which I find very sad that's not happened.
Football, sadly, football run on those things, not only the relation, because relation is there, but sometimes you need to take those
PR.
Exactly. Obviously, that's the main factor. Obviously, PR is the key, because I think इसीलिए मैंने ट्वीट किया ना कि अगर ईगो स्टीवेंस के पास ऑफर है बोस्निया का और डायनेमो ज़ाग्रेब का, then he should be taking his career will go, you can say, one level upper. just like his fellow countryman, Peter Stigart has been parted ways with Tajikistan to get a better, you can say, club or country for a coaching. So I think why not Igor should doing that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting, interesting. If these offers are actually coming in or not. I mean, that's I think it's down to that. But yeah, guys, two big ISL games as well tomorrow. It's a Saturday. Got two games. First one, Mohun Bagan Northeast. Again, very important for both sides for different reasons. I don't know, where do you see this one going?
Just to answer Shaggy's question, there are some players who are supporting the coach, but there are a lot of players who are not supporting the coach. So that's also a reality. So there is a rift in the dressing room for sure. But yeah, no more to that. I think very important games tomorrow. I think tomorrow is for East Bengal. It's first of all important that they win against Hyderabad.
But yeah,
To get out of that slump. It is very weird because one thought East Bengal has cut the corner. They won the Super Cup. Now the good days are back, and against Mumbai City, I've seen one of the worst East Bengals in the recent past. That was that one again. Like today's 1-0 for is flattering for the Blasters. I think the 1-0 for East Bengal against Mumbai City was also very flattering. Mumbai City should have won it 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. And nobody could have complained. Hyderabad is, in my opinion, one goal short, one goal, and you never know how a match goes. And East Bengal is shaky because East Bengal will have to put in, so to me is for them it's East Bengal has to restructure their whole foreigner scenario. Again, they've had another injury with Pardo. Pardo was a solid man, either as a centre back or even as a six. I don't know what the situation with Saul Crespo is. As far as I understand, Saul Crespo is still injured. So that's another one out, which will force you to play Felicio Brown, which forces you potentially to play Victor Rodriguez as well. Victor Vasquez as well. And Mahesh is out. Lanchun Nunga is out. And therefore, that's an interesting one, a tough one for them. While on the other side, I think Hyderabad has had decent moments in all the matches they've played. Even against teams like Odisha, even against teams like FC Goa. So that will be an interesting one to see what if they what they can do. Yes, I know they've signed Pantic for Pardo, but Pantic, until he's here, will be most probably another 7, 10, maybe 14 days, which means he won't be here most probably before March. And then the guy needs to settle down as well. So that's their scenario at the moment. While with Mohun Bagan and Northeast, Mohun Bagan have been on a roll to very good results. And again, Dimi Petratos has been sort of an interesting one, and on their side, Northeast United are also on the up after that East Bengal win. So that will be an interesting test because it again pits the top 5 against those 6 teams who are fighting for that 6th spot, right? And there every point counts. If Mohun Bagan wants to win the League Shield, they need to win. And on the other side, if Northeast wants to stay in the hunt for the 6th spot, they also need to win. So I think we could be looking forward to an exciting match. I'm really interested to see how Tommy Juric plays tomorrow at the Salt Lake. So it's going to be, looks likely a matchup of Aussie strikers and a lot of yes might being said on the field. So that could be interesting in that match. And of course, 2 tacticians, Habas versus Ben Ali.
Mute, Rahul.
You're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. Just before I go to Hiren, can you just give us your predictions for both games as well?
I think it'll be a 2-2 between Mohun Bagan Hyderabad, Mohun Bagan Northeast, and a 1-0 for East Bengal.
Okay. Hiren. Your take on the games.
दीपक दास भाई, आप ऐसे कमेंट जब वो खेल खेल के कुछ यहाँ पे कोई क्लब लेवल पे चला जाएगा तब उसके बारे में बात करेंगे, अभी उसके बारे में बात नहीं करते, तो लेट्स
We
लीव
don't
इट टू
know
देयर.
what is going to happen. It's just a
Let's
comment.
leave it to there. Let's leave it to. Then
If I'm
I
not
can say
wrong,
my child will go to this country and play for India. अब अभी तो अभी से बात करने की क्या बात मतलब है? If he
yeah,
grows,
let's
then
see. I
let's
mean,
बात करेंगे.
yeah, let's see after.
First, it's Hyderabad versus East Bengal. I think interesting match because if East Bengal go with the same tactics of defense, then I think Hyderabad has that quality. At least I think if they can produce a one goal, and if they can score a one goal, then I think I am seeing a match with the 1-1. To be honest, I
Okay.
think East Bengal needs to be more, you can say, attacking against the Hyderabad. Otherwise, I think Hyderabad youngster will. I am seeing they at least can score a one goal. So in that sense, I am seeing that match as a 1-1 draw. Other match is Northeast United versus Mohun Bagan. I want to really see Tommy Juric versus Jason Cummings, two Australian striker who recent past play for the Australia. First it was Tommy Juric, then in 2022 it was Jason Cummings. Now they move on to the Duke, but I think at the moment, I think those two former Australian striker, I need to see how they are going to perform. Other than that, Pedro Benali versus Anthony Hobas will be a that tactical battle. It's a really good to see. But I would find the slight advantage to be honest to Mohan Bagan for their individual brilliance wise quality. Hmm. Northeast United also has that kind of player, but I think on not every position. You see, with the Mohan Bagan, they have some quite interesting Indian player also in terms of the quality wise. So in that sense, I am seeing a slight advantage to Mohan Bagan, maybe 2-1 victory for them. But that's my prediction about that match.
And the other one, Hyderabad is Bengal.
East Bengal is 1-1 draw for Hyderabad FC versus East Bengal.
Okay,
1-1
okay,
draw.
fair enough. Awesome. That's interesting,
Because they
guys.
are also missing Lal and Norem in this match. So the
Yeah.
two crucial Indian player will be missing in this match.
It's going to be interesting for both sides. I mean, again, in both games, East Bengal need a win to stay put in that race for the top six. We've got Northeast, who again are looking to fight for the sixth spot. Mohun Bagan are at the top of the table for the title. So very important day yet again in Indian football tomorrow. It's going to be fun. And yeah, guys, everybody, thanks for joining in. Please like and share these videos. Subscribe to the channel. Sports Career, Unfoot, and Curious Harry. Good night.
Good night, guys.